What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, joined by Shannon Times.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Unfortunately, LeVon couldn't make it this week, but he'll be back next week. Welcome to the show. Definitely continue to tune in. Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday's discussion, so definitely tune in for those. On Monday, we discussed how Albania, am I saying that right? I always say it wrong.
I think it is Albania. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Albania has cut ties with Iran on diplomatic, on diplomacy, I should say, due to a ransomware attack or several ransomware attacks. Then on Tuesday, we talked about the NSA and the Central Security Service, their press release dealing with the future of quantum resistance, algorithm requirements. Shannon was on that one because there's way too many C's and K's. I just can't handle how these words all ran into each other. But definitely tune into that one. It talks about the future of cryptography. And then Wednesday's discussion revolved around Patreon and how they fired their entire security staff. So they released 5 members. They say because they went the third-party route. So we peek in there a little bit, discuss it. So some interesting stuff. And then today is everything else. So if you tuned in today, we're talking about everything but cybersecurity. That's how we get down on this show. Movies, games, books, all that good stuff. So with that being said, how was your week?
Man, I can't complain, man. I had a couple days in my week where I felt a little under the weather, so I was at home a little bit, but didn't take in a lot of material, right? Didn't take in a lot of media or anything like that. I did watch She-Hulk, another funny episode, right? Like this one kind of makes up for me, right? It makes up for Moon Knight, Obi-Wan. I didn't like that much. There's another one in there. Miss Marvel, I wasn't that big a fan of, so this one's kind of making up for it with She-Hulk. But yeah, good episodes. If y'all aren't watching She-Hulk, y'all got to get on this, man. It's hilarious. Fourth wall breaking, I will tell some people, like, the fourth wall breaking is a thing, but apparently that's also the thing in the comics with She-Hulk, right? Like, she does kind of as Deadpool, right? Talk to you as the reader, but it's not as overbearing as Deadpool 2 to me. But really good series, man. Y'all gotta check that out. I watched the Hulu original Mike. I watched the last 2 episodes of that. Man, it's crazy. And again, so I want to put it out there that this is not a version that's sanctioned by Mike Tyson himself, right? Like, they just use other sources that are out there publicly, right, to make this happen. Some stuff from his autobiography, right, The Undisputed Truth, from what other people have written about Mike Tyson, whether it be unauthorized or not, to get the story for this stuff. And like, I've read some on Tyson. Like, I'm a boxing fan, so I've read some stuff on Tyson where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Yep, I remember that's how that went down. Yep, I remember that. But sometimes I'm just like, ooh, did that really happen like that? Like, where'd they get that from, right? Like, it could be Hollywooding it up. But no, it's still a good series though, right? The guy that's the actor in it. We talked about this before. He's the same guy from which one was this?
Was it Predators or Predator?
The Predator.
The Predator.
He was Nebraska Williams. He was one of the guys that was in The Predator. I think was his name, Nebraska Williams. But yeah, he does a very good job, like with the mannerisms and everything, like the way he moves, he talks. Very good job of portraying Mike. He did pretty good. I watched your Bills run through the Rams. That was I was like, oh man, look, and we were talking about it. Look, they got to play my Ravens October 2nd. You said is when it is.
October 2nd.
Look, depending on how that turns out, I might be sick that week. I'm just putting it out there. I might not be able to make it. Practice my cough now. Ryan, I can't make it. We're gonna see how that goes, because they looked dominant. Like, even with the turnovers they had, like, that game should have been 50-10, right? 50-3. And I don't know. Like, it just seemed like they started off really hot, man. And like even though the last game they played last year, they lost when they played the Chiefs, like, it was an amazing game for the Bills, man. That last 13 seconds is what cost them. But they looked really good, man. And I'm just like, I'm ready for football. You know what I'm saying? Like, football is here. I'm ready for it. I waited patiently. I didn't cuss nobody out. You know what I mean? So I gotta get it. I gotta, I gotta enjoy my day. You know what I mean? Um, what else did I take in? Um, that might be pretty much it. She-Hulk, Mike, watch the game. Uh, yeah, not much else other than that, man, that I can think of. How about you, Ryan?
So I got in a little bit of stuff. So it's finals week, so I'm grading papers and stuff like that. But in between, I started the Sandman on Netflix. I got to the third episode. It's okay. Like it's not uh too crazy. I mean, like so
That
far,
seemed
like
up your
I
alley. That seemed up your alley. It looked really weird to
it
me.
it is pretty weird. I'm not going to say it's not, but I'm getting some Twilight vibes. I never watched Twilight, but like this dude could definitely be on the cast of Twilight. He's got the he's got the hair going. You know what I mean? Like with the melancholy, because he's the Sandman. So he is sleep, dream, right? Um, but the in the universe canonically, like he's brothers and sisters with death and desire, and there's a bunch of other. So it has some very interesting lore built into it. Um, but so far so good. I mean, it is what it is. I hear it gets better, but right now it's just like, man, I can get down with it, or I can leave it, and don't make no difference. Aside from that, I finally watched RRR. What does it stand for? Is it like,
I can't remember
oh man,
because in the beginning of the movie they took the R's out of different words.
right? It's story, it's fire,
Yeah,
it's water, but
yeah.
the actual R's mean something. But it is crazy. Like, so it's a 3 hour epic, like Hindi. Is it Hindi or is it? Yeah,
It's
it's Hindi movie. I've seen some movies that come from that area, Bollywood stuff like that. Um, they're very over the top. They're very choreographed and bright and colorful. This is like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon meets Ip Man, meets, I don't know. Like it was great though. But it's like, hey, what would have happened if um this is pre independent India, like had certain factions taken arms against the imperialists,
yeah.
and it's pretty good. Yeah, and it's like a buddy movie, and it's like a comedy, and it's like a
A
musical.
musical too, right? Yeah, like
They
that
were
part.
getting they
I
were
was
getting it
like,
in at the wedding.
they were, but I was
At
like,
the wedding.
I could go without this, right? But
Yeah,
yeah,
these dudes are super talented, right? So like they're not only actors, they're martial artists, they're dancers, they they do it all. One stop shop. So it's very interesting. But I watched, like, legit, so long. I watched half of it, and I need a break. I need a palate cleanser. And I watched End of Road with Queen Latifah and Ludacris and Bo Bridges. It's like a uh, thriller, I guess you would say. It's not, I'm not going to spoil it, but it revolves around the family, and they're trying to get from they're driving across country, because the mom is either seeking new employment, or she's got to move in with relatives or something like that, and then it goes wrong, right? They they get a phone call with a scrambled up voice, like, you got Mr. Cross's money, we want it back. And it goes from there. It's They have to do illogical things in these movies in order for the story to progress, but it's so illogical. Like, no black family would do any of these things. I'm like, so I'm yelling at the TV the entire time. Um, it's not terrible. It's just, if you have nothing else to do, I watched it as opposed to watching Morbius. It's either that or Morbius. I went with this. That's how bad I don't feel like watching Morbius. Um, if you have an hour, and I think it's like hour and 20 or something like that, of minutes to spare, go ahead. But I watched it for you, so you don't have to. It's a C. It's a C. Let's put it out there. And then I went right back into RRR, and finished that one off. It just went crazier and crazier. My man was running around with the animals. Remember that part? The animals in the fire. These dudes are going at it. I'm talking about like think of very unrealistic fighting. Like they're literally hitting each other with, at some points, like stone pillars.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
it's wild.
it's epic. Like I'm telling you, like, well, it's a good time. It's very sharp too. Like it's like I don't know what their budget was for this movie, but it was ridiculous. Like they didn't miss. Like none of these special effects where I was like, nah, it's kind of whack. Nah, they did a good job. So yeah, I finished that, and then I was going to play Cyberpunk 2077, but I wound up grading some more papers. My plan is now I have the 18,000 patches for this game. I want to jump back into it, start over, jump into it, and try to um, enjoy it. I really want this game to be good, but it's not, at least not yet.
Do you want it to be good because you're a Keanu fan? Like, is that why?
It's just my genre, like the whole steampunk thing, dystopic future. Like I'm getting into play in the like Fallout and Far Cry. It's like that, but only like just more cybernetics and guns. But so far, Far Cry, I think 6 is what I'm playing, way better than Cyberpunk. And they hyped up Cyberpunk for years. They're like, it's gonna be The Witcher, but with guns. I was like, I can do that because I never did The Witcher, right? I was like, nah, I'm not really down for all this fantasy stuff. Like, give me the tech. And then they give it to me. I'm like, this is not good. Not terrible, just not good. So that's kind of where I'm at with Cyberpunk right now. But I've not played it since they patched it again. Like I took a picture and showed you guys. I was downloading like a 90 gig patch. Like if that don't fix it, it's almost the size of the game.
I
It's
was
just
like,
in
it's a
patch
whole
form.
new game, man.
Yeah. So that don't fix it. I don't know what's gonna fix it. And now there's an expansion coming out. So they have to kind of like they gotta get me enticed like by the expansion, right? They gotta make some money on that. So I assume they fixed a lot of things. I just have to go in and play it. Because yeah, like shooting was not fun, the driving was not fun. And it's like if you're gonna be like a GTA like experience, then you gotta nail both of those. You got no choice. And they just did not. And then there was this weird glitches. Like at one point, I was trying to finish a mission. I couldn't because it directed me to the middle of a bridge and said I had arrived, kind of like Apple Maps used to do a couple years ago. But then there was nothing there. It didn't prompt or cue anything. So I was just dead. I was just dead in the water. I can't finish this mission. Um, so we'll see. I'll reboot, start over, see how it goes. I think tonight I gotta watch Game of Thrones. No, so Game of Thrones for me is Monday mornings because it comes out Sunday night. Um, what is it? Harley. I gotta watch Harley Quinn because that there should be an episode, and I gotta watch something I'm missing. I
Was
can't
it the
remember.
was it the Rings of Power one on Amazon Prime? Are you watching that one?
So I haven't started that. I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan, so
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be lost on me.
yeah.
Um, like all of the internet's ganging up on it, like because that's just what the internet does. Especially if it's a female protagonist. Oh man, you can already tell Twitter's gonna be lit up with people talking nonsense. Yeah, I'm talking to you if you're out there. They just don't like female leads in anything. And then I saw the casting. Do you see the casting for Fantastic Four? As
No.
so there's pictures of the press um uh what is it, the conference, like the D23, they showed it. I don't know if it's officially been released yet, but it's an official photo. It's got oh man, I gotta pull this up. It's got Seth Rogen, uh Boyega. That's what everybody's upset about again, because that's what people do. um
Who is Rogan playing?
I think he's playing oh boy with the bricks was his name.
The Thing?
Yeah, the thing.
Okay.
But I didn't really read into it. I just saw the picture was posted and I saw the internet going crazy for one reason. I was just like, man, oh man, I gotta find this. There's so much dead air. Um
Yeah, and I hadn't seen that, but like that seems kind of like a quick reboot too, right? Because the other one came out. When did the other one come out? The last one with Michael B. Jordan.
2015. That
Was it
was Michael B.
2015? Okay.
Jordan.
That seems longer
Yeah,
than I thought it was. I would have said like 18 or something like that. But 2015 is that's like 7 years ago. So maybe that was a while ago then. I'll say,
yeah,
but
and it's gonna,
even then, it's a quick reboot still.
yeah, and I think they're gonna like reboot it from the ground up, right? But everybody's upset about the one casting choice because that's the internet.
Of course, yeah.
They're like, it's not canon. Like, so we're going to continuously fight over made up creations and people in them. But I digress. It's like these aren't real people. It's not historical people. It's Henry Cavill's in as well. So everybody likes that decision. Everybody hates Seth Rogen, and they don't like potentially for was it Johnny Blaze for him to be to potentially not the brother of the what is it, Invisible Woman? Is that what she
Sue
called?
Storm. Yeah, Sue Storm.
Yeah, Sue Storm. They're like, oh, they can't be related. Well, they can be related, and it's also a movie.
So
Um,
how is
calm
Cavill
down, people.
how is Cavill
He's
gonna
gonna be Doctor
uh,
Doom.
yeah, but like so if he is gonna be Doctor Doom, like he's still gonna be around, right? So like he's gonna be doing that and Superman. That's what Cavill is, right? Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Superman, right?
Yep.
Okay. So
And The Witcher.
The Witcher, yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how he's gonna make that happen because I imagine they're gonna want to keep going forward with this, right? Like they're gonna want to do more than one, in which case he's gonna be around the whole time. Like you got to do
Yeah.
that, and then you got to do
I
Superman.
don't know if he's going to keep doing Superman, to be honest with you, because they're looking for their own Michael, or was it not Michael? It's Kevin Feige. I think they're trying to reboot again and like have it all make sense.
Hmm.
So I
I know.
think I think they're gonna.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think that their game plan is to recast a lot of these people.
So I did see that I think it was the Warner Brothers head was having a discussion about that, right? Like he was talking about how there should never be another Snyder cut, but the way he was saying it was that we should not release another movie to where the fans are like, we need to see this different version of what we released. You know what I mean? So it seems like they are trying to do the whole we need to get it right the first time. We need to make it better type thing. And I think it was the Warner Brothers head. It might not have been. It
Yeah.
might have been like DC or something like that, but I'm like, okay, that's like when I first read the headline, I was like, oh man, that's kind of terrible. But then when I read into the story, I was like, okay, it makes sense what they're saying, right? The headline just it clickbait, right? It got me in there. Like, what are you saying? That's Snyder cut. I liked it. You know what I mean? Those 4 hours, I liked it.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, it was like, yeah, we shouldn't have that happening because the fans should not be wanting more after they see the original version of the movie. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, because there's still another. There's the Suicide, or not the Suicide Squad. Is it the Suicide Squad? Whichever one was the first one that everybody hated that had Will Smith in it. There was a different cut for that one as well that never made it out. Everybody wants that cut to eventually come out as well, but it probably never will. Where the tone of the movie was just different. Um, I don't know. Like, I'm of two minds. Like, I really enjoyed the Snyder cut, but did I enjoy it as much as I did because I had waited so long and I wanted it so bad, right? Like the hype. Did the hype push me into really enjoying it as much as I did? Would I have liked it if it came out the first time, or would I be like, man, this is too long? why? Why is this movie 3 hours long? Or they would have broken it in half, right? It would have been like the Infinity War and Endgame.
In game, yeah, I think they
Yeah,
would have broken it in half because you just can't have people sitting at a movie theater for 4 hours. It just wasn't going to
yeah,
happen. You know what I mean? Because like just like not even from a perspective of people not wanting to sit for 4 hours, but for money being made, right? You're still charging the same price for a ticket. Like 3 hours
oh yeah, it's true. Yeah,
you're going to get, right? But even the theaters are going to be upset about that because now they can't show that movie 4 times a day. They can only show it 3 times a day. I know I'm they can't show it three
yeah,
times a day, 2 times a day, whatever, on as many screens. You know what I'm saying? With that extra hour.
right.
So I think the theaters would be mad. I think you know what I'm saying. 3 hours has got to be the tops. You know what I mean? That you can get out there for these studios to make money in the theater chains to really go along with it.
Right. No, I yeah, I hear that. Like, So we'll see. I think they also need a reboot, but I'm interested to see interested. Sorry, I can't speak. To see how Black Adam is received, new Shazam is received, because there's certain movies that are coming out that might actually be good, as opposed to like your like I didn't enjoy Aquaman. Some people liked it. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. So I'm not gonna I'm
Really?
gonna
Oh man.
it's kind of whack.
Oh,
So I'm thinking like the Aquaman 2 is gonna be just as whack, if not whacker. I don't know. Like, it just didn't do it for me. But the only movies I've liked so far have been the first Wonder Woman. I thought it was really good. Um, I thought Shazam was okay. It's pretty funny. Um,
Shazam definitely surprised me.
yeah.
Like it took me a long
And
time to see Shazam, and when I did, I was like, man, I should have seen this sooner. Because
right. Yeah, I waited because I was like, man, it's gonna be whack.
yeah,
So that's why I'm kind of on the fence about Black Adam. Like, I'm like, am I gonna go out my way to go see it? And I'm just like, that might be good though, because Shazam was really good in retrospect compared to what I thought it was going to be. Right, it was good. So it can only get better.
these trailers are good though, man. They just
Yeah,
released another trailer for Black Adam. I'm like, oh man, okay. All right.
yeah. So I mean, they do have a few good ones, but like Aquaman didn't do it for me. Wonder Woman 1984 didn't do it for me. Man, what else? I did like uh kind of liked Batman versus Superman. Kind of liked it, only just because, but they I don't know. I think they were going for something and he just couldn't do it because it would have been um, not well received by. It wasn't well received by fans anyway, but it would have been even worse reception by fans. And he gotten darker because that's just the type of movie he makes. It's got to be dark and gritty. So they try to make it better, but it's like, why you keep saying that name?
Yeah,
It's kind of like,
I'm with you, right? Like a lot of fans did rip that one, but I was like, man, I kind of like it, right? But that part right
yeah,
there was kind of like, all right. And you want to know something crazy? You want to know something that's wild? I didn't even think about that until he said it in the movie. I was like, yeah, it was two Marthas, wasn't it? It was Martha and Maria.
right,
I didn't, I
right,
hadn't even thought about it, and I've been knowing about Batman and Superman for
yeah,
years. I was like, man, why did I not figure that out beforehand? Like,
right. Yeah, the tie between them, right? Um, but I don't know. Like I could see them doing a reboot, a recast, for the most part, maybe pulling a couple people. Because like I'm super excited about Flashpoint, right? But like the whole Ezra Miller stuff is like putting dampening that because they literally were in a period of time where what is it? Discover? Is it Discover that merged with Warner Brothers? Like,
Discovered took Warner Brothers, yeah.
yeah, like they can just be like, nope, we're gonna shelve it because they just shelve whatever they want to, right? Like they just like, no, not worried about it. So like he had to apologize, or like they had to apologize um, about their poor behavior and how they need some help with their mental stability and things of that nature. Because that movie might have got shelved, that's the one I'm looking forward to.
They just did it for Batgirl, right?
Yeah, they shelved
Sure,
Batgirl as
sure,
well. Like I think they screened it on the lot. This is all you get. Now it's going in the vote. So I'm just
and
like,
and that could be a ploy, right? That could be one of those things where they're like, hey, this is what we thought to do about this, but like 2 years from now, they'll be like, hey, we decided to release it and hope the anticipation is there. Maybe, I don't know. That
right.
just seems because they put. I want to say the figure I saw was $90 million was put into it. Man, I'm like,
Yeah.
you just gonna throw away $90 million like that? Like this is this is not a good business move. It doesn't seem like, but maybe it
Right.
would be even worse if it really was that bad, right? Like I don't know. Like maybe
Yeah.
back.
But again, I think it's the whole female protagonist thing. Like a lot of movies are getting panned just for having a female lead. It's just like why? Like some like, but it could be also be like maybe some of these franchises, um, people are so invested from childhood or whatever. But like I enjoyed Prey. I thought that was excellent as female lead. I enjoyed the latest Terminator, and that was an all female led cast. People hate those movies. They're like, oh, how did she kill the Terminator? Blah 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 blah. It's like Terminators aren't real. Let's first off, let's just say that. And ingenuity or whatever. Like, how did Arnold take out the like spoiler alert from the original Predator? How did Arnold do it? Right? They're like, oh, because he's Arnold. Like this thing can pick a bear up and tear it in half. So just relax, people. It's okay. But the more I dig into it, like this may be a fake. It's a really good fake if it is a fake, but the cast supposed to be John Krasinski as Reed Richards, Jodie Comer as Sue Storm, John Boyega as Johnny Storm, Seth Rogen as Ben Grimm, and then Henry Cavill as Victor Von Doom. But a lot of the internet is saying it's fake, so we will see.
Yeah, when you said Krasinski, I was like, okay, it's fake, because that was never confirmed. Like, people wanted that, right, after seeing
Yeah,
the last Doctor Strange, right? But like, and I look at, it's been so long now, it's not a spoiler, right? Like, it's out on Disney Plus, so if you ain't seen it by now, it's what it is, right?
right.
But no, I like, as soon as you said that, I was like, okay, that might be fake, because that's one of those things where people wanted, and it never caught traction to like it being legit. You know what I mean? So yeah, that could be. I don't know. And that dude's
Yeah,
busy.
so we'll see.
He's doing so much. Like, that's another one, just like with Henry Cavill, right? Like, he's directing movies, producing movies. You know what I mean? Starring in series. Like, he's Jack Ryan on Amazon. Like, their season 3's got to be coming out soon. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
so like he's crazy busy to where I don't know if he'd be able to keep up with that either. So
I don't know. Time will tell. But the picture looks super real to me. But I'm no I don't know what that would be, a person who studies pictures to see like if they're authentic or not. Wherever that word is, I'm not that. Um, so we will see what the future holds for that. But either I'm excited just for whatever concept they come out. Like they're very few bad Marvel movies. I can't even think of one off the top of my head. Oh yeah, Thor: The Dark World. But they're very few and far between. So I'm going to guess it's going to be good regardless of what it is. They don't miss, at least not recently. But so She-Hulk. So I did watch the latest She-Hulk. I thought it was hilarious. I think they're nailing it. A lot of people hate She-Hulk too. I just don't know what's going on. But again, female lead. I tied to that. Like maybe I'm being biased because I think all these TV shows and movies that they keep bringing up all seem to have a common theme, and none of them seem to be bad, but they always had the same beef. So if you got beef with that, then I'm sorry. So just my opinion. But
don't apologize to them.
but I think the show's really good. I think it's funny. I think the cameos are pretty impressive. Like with a lot of these shows, lean really hard into the origin story, but this one was just like, here's the origin story real quick, and then we're just moving on from here. So it feels more like a show that binds future shows and movies to the MCU, right? It's like a glue. And then you have Wong. Like so Wong makes appearances all the time, right? Everybody loves Wong. They even said that in this one when they broke the fourth wall, like, because I know you hate the show because I'm a woman. Here's Wong. She didn't say that, by the way, because that's going to get somebody to not watch it. But that's pretty much the sentiment, right? And then what I didn't know, because I watch a lot of Easter egg stuff. So it was not this episode, but I think a previous episode where they had all of the Twitter accounts going off and like just saying like not negative stuff per se, but just comments about the show. Like some of them were kind of negative. A lot of those were actually pulled from Twitter. So it was actual tweets that people had tweeted. I thought that was pretty funny. Still back in their face.
Really? Yeah.
Like, here you go. Here's your nonsense back at you.
Thank you for this in the public domain. We're going to use it
Yeah.
for our, yeah. That's funny.
So I thought that was pretty funny. But I think the show runners get it. Like they nailed the character. Yeah, the CGI it's not off-putting. It's a giant green person. So sometimes the uncanny valley does hit sometimes. I'm like, that looked weird, but it's so fast and few in between. It's just like, man, whatever. But just the acting and the comedy. I think they definitely nail it. Not to mention, like I said, it definitely ties things together. So like watch this episode. I thought it's gonna be really funny. Hopefully they keep some of these B-side characters pop up elsewhere in the MCU, like Madison with a Y. It's not where you think.
That's not what you think.
I thought that was hilarious, and it just kept coming back. Right, it's just a running gag. I was just like, okay, thought it was a one off, but now like this person might become canon elsewhere in the MCU. So I really enjoy it. I can't wait to see next week's. Um, Aside from that, I watched episode 4 of Star Wars, so I got to start episode 5. So these are the original Star Wars. Well, not the original, right? Like, so there's added CGI. There are edits. I get it. It's not what people grew up on. I don't care. I didn't start watching Star Wars until 2022. So I'm watching it in Disney's timeline order. Sorry. But I'm excited about the stuff that's not um, uh, in the big releases, not in the big trilogies that get released. Like I'm sure like I'll like the rest of this trilogy. I know nothing of the next trilogy, except for obviously it's going to have the female protagonist that people hated so much, um, or at least disliked. But I'm excited about the stuff in between. Like Rogue One is the best for me. That was my favorite so far. And I know they have new stuff coming out like Andor. I'm going to be watching Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett. Like I like the non uh, Jedi focused stuff. Like the people seems to be like my go to. But again, I'm watching it now, all it like combined, right? So I don't have that years and years and years of separation between IP.
I but I think everybody watches it for the Jedi stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you like the part that people like the least. I don't know if you're gonna see a lot more of that, right? Because this is kind of what it focuses on. Like,
Yeah, but I like Obi-Wan though. Like, don't get me wrong, like I do like the Jedi stuff. But I think I like the people stuff because I've always said this. I've never watched Star Wars except for I watched episode 2 when I was in Iraq. Station Iraq, they debuted it there a week early. So I was like, I gotta go see it. And I had no context. It was just okay. It was like, but I was very appreciative that they brought it there. So I came to the theater. It was packed too. People just hooping and hollering. Like people really enjoyed it. So the atmosphere was perfect. I just didn't know enough about it to really have a skin in the game, right? But I say that to say, um, I do like the Jedi stuff. It's pretty cool. But I always had a beef with why are only like 5 or 6 people, let's say 20 people. There's an entire galaxy, and these 20 people are just like making it happen, right? It's like, what about all the other people? Like, I used to always hear the jokes about the contractors on the Death Star, right? Where it was like, I thought that part was humorous. Like, there's a bunch of people that you never see. They're all involved in these conflicts. You see these big wars, but all you see is lightsabers, right? Like, what about all the other people getting mowed down with the conventional weapons? So like Rogue One gave that to me, right? Like they're landing on the beach and they were getting mowed down. These people actually have influence over the bigger story, right? Like these people who will be nameless from here on out, but they actually had like parts in getting the plans um, to the right people. I'm like, I like that. Like that settles better with me. Um, and they're not overpowered, right? Like these people just died. It was a suicide mission. Spoiler alert, sorry. But I was like, okay, I like it. I like it. So I know that there's going to be another Obi-Wan that's going to come out, which I also enjoyed that. But then there's Andor and a few other shows that aren't Jedi focused to my knowledge anyway. They look like just regular people um, fighting the Empire. So I'm like, okay, I get down with that.
all right. I mean, if that's your bag, then yeah, you might like some of those other ones. But um, yeah, I don't know, man. I have watched most of them. I can't say I watched everything. Like I haven't watched the animated stuff. I have watched, Solo, Rogue One, which I agree. Rogue One is probably one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
But uh, yeah, I don't know. I I'm not into it as much as other people are, and maybe because I didn't grow up with it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
these people watched it when they were young, and they're just like, you can't change from this. This is what I know. It's a nostalgia factor, right? Don't change up your.
Right. Right.
So, you know, that's why they love it. Like
No.
when you go to the newer movies, they love it when they if they see somebody from the older movies come in. They're like episode 4 or 5
Right.
come in. They're like, oh, that's the best part of the movie. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you've already seen that. Why do you not want to take on something new or see something new? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm happy to not have that baggage, so to speak, right? Of not seeing in my childhood, because like I'm enjoying it now, and Disney is a machine. So sorry, like it may have taken Lucas films decades to generate this stuff. Nah, that's not what Disney does, right? Like Disney's about to pump out Mufasa as a movie. Like they're doing a prequel to The Lion King. Yes, that's a
Really?
thing. Yeah, they show they showed at D23. They're like how he came from humble beginnings into becoming who he is, and I'm slightly confused because I thought he was the son of a king himself. So I don't think did Mufasa take over the Pride Land? Did it belong to somebody else? And he was like, "No, this is mine now." Because I thought his father was the king, and then he took it from his father, and then Simba took it from uh, Scar after Scar killed. Like spoiler
Well, yeah.
alert.
So that's not necessarily how that works, right? Because lions fight for their prides and what they do, right?
Right. So I assume it's going to be something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But it's live action.
is James Earl Jones doing the voice? I'm curious
I
about
don't
that.
know. He has to. He has to, but I don't know.
He doesn't sound the same. I don't know if you've heard him now. Like he's like 90 now, right? Like he's one of the greatest voice actors we've ever heard.
I don't care. Fix it.
Yeah.
Perform surgery on that man. Get that voice together. It's iconic.
Well, no, it's not. It's not that. It's not that he's. I don't want to say this. Like he doesn't sound shaky or anything like that. But like
Right. His voice has just changed.
yeah,
Yeah.
changed. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing for who was Scarface? Was it De Niro?
Pacino.
Pacino. So Pacino couldn't do the lines for the Scarface game. They wanted to come back and do it for the game. And he was like, I just don't sound like him anymore. I just can't do that voice anymore. So I was like, okay, I get that, right? You get older, your voice changes and what have you. Plus, he would have been younger, right? So it'd be weird to have that voice with a younger Mufasa, right? Like, what happened? You smoke cigarettes? Like, what's happening right now?
Is that what y'all doing in Africa? Like,
Were you in a forest fire? Like
doing?
jungle fire or whatever?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see. Like, but again, like I Disney is a machine. I love Disney, but Disney is a machine. Like, if you're upset, you might as well give up on these franchises because they're going to keep making. Like, even if it goes straight to DVD, they don't care. They're like, all right, I got a streaming service for that, so we're going to keep churning out product. So, and most of the stuff I like it. So, especially when it comes to the other stuff they've picked up, right? So like there will be another Indiana Jones, most likely. There will be another anything Pixar. Like they're gonna make another sequel to that. Like I heard was it Inside Out, the one with the emotions, that's getting a sequel. So like they're just making it. They're just making it. Like anything you like, we're gonna make another one. This gonna be another Toy Story. This gonna happen.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Like if they go down the Indiana Jones route, like the second it's no longer Harrison Ford, people are gonna revolt. I just know that's what's gonna happen because what they know.
So yeah, but I think he said this is his last one. Like I think it's confirmed that it is going to happen, but he was like, "That's it. This will be."
He can't be doing the stuff he used to do. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. I'm surprised he's gonna be in this one.
Yeah. Well,
I think they tried to pass the torch.
Go ahead. Here, he has to make up for Crystal Skull. I haven't seen Crystal Skull, but people did not like it. And
it wasn't like so. Like I did watch Indiana Jones growing up. It was not. They tried to pull nostalgia and they couldn't, and they tried to pass the torch, right? So I think Shia LaBeouf was going to be the take the franchise forward, and he had his stuff. People just didn't like this movie. It wasn't terrible, but it's the last. It was the least favorite out of all of them. Like people, like again, like because I found that nostalgia factor, whatever. But I would watch Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford. Like if he took on the role of Sean Connery, like the father figure, and he was pushing somebody else, I will be completely fine with that. And then one day he'll stop making the movies, or unfortunately he'll pass away or whatever. But if they just had him in that capacity, just to keep people around for the nostalgia, that's fine. Like, I don't see what's wrong with getting a newer, younger actor. Like, this dude's being chased by boulders. Like, Harrison Ford ain't got that in him no more. You gotta let it go. Like, but like, think if they made the new Indy a female lead, it would get panned, right? They're like, oh, a woman can't be Indiana Jones.
Says who, right?
I'm
Like,
making somebody mad. Somebody's upset right now. Like, I have 5 people listening to this podcast. At least one of them is very mad at me. Well, it is what it is. All right. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I would be down for that, because that's money, right? They don't acquire these studios and the IP that go with them to not make stuff. Like, what do you think they're going to do with it? So I am looking forward to more Disney stuff, and now that I can go back to Disney World and actually understand the Star Wars stuff, I'm pretty excited about that as well.
yeah,
So,
you gotta think Disney is gonna keep it moving, right? So like, if they just keep doing the same thing, if they spend billions of dollars to acquire these properties, like
yeah,
people will get mad then too, right? Like you damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Can't win for losing type thing. You like,
yeah,
if they do the same thing over and over, people will be like, oh, you haven't changed anything, and then you'll have the other side of be like, oh, it should still be the same once you change it. So you just got to
yeah,
decide what you're going to do and just do the best at it when you do. And Disney, like you said, they come with the heat, man. Like Disney puts it out there and they're like, all right, here's what we got for you, right?
right,
So
right. So I'm looking forward to it. And then people go back and like, oh, it's not in the source material. Like, bro, it's not history. Like, it's not these are not historical, and even we don't even get that right most of the time, right? Like, most of the history stuff is written by the victor, so it's always biased in some way, shape, or form. But these are comic books. Like, chill out. But it is what it is. I'm sure at some point there's somebody who can find a clip of me complaining about something that they changed. I'm like, why'd they do that? It was fine the way it was. But
and then you'll be canceled. That's how that works.
right. Like, I didn't even get a chance to make any money. I never did anything. But it is what it is at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm looking forward to all that stuff. There, like I said, I'm going to play Cyberpunk hopefully as soon as these papers are graded, and I got to catch up on Harley Quinn tonight and Game of Thrones tomorrow. And I didn't even think I like Game of Thrones. I've been said I was not going to watch this. I was like, cancel this. It's not going to be good. The last Game of Thrones ended horribly. Yada yada yada. Um, and then I'm watching this. I'm like, oh, this is good. They got me again. I'm really enjoying it. When people complain about this too, they're like, oh, it's not the same. It's not from the source material. I'm like, listen, man, like like read your books or your comics or what have you. And if you don't want to see the live adaptation, then don't watch it. Or the opposite. Like, you know how many movies I've watched and then read a book? The book's always better though. I'm trying to think of an example. The book's always better. But to do the opposite, stop reading, just start watching, and then you can go back and watch. You can read the source material later. Flip it
You
on its
can't
head.
you can't go out there and tell people to stop reading. Right.
You should read it. Like, so
You're going to get us both canceled.
what was it? It was oh man, it's the one where Will Smith is like the last person. I Am Legend. So I was so pumped when I saw the trailer for I Am Legend. I was like, I need to read this book. It's a short story. It's like 350 pages or whatever. So I need to read this book because this movie looks like it's going to be fire. And I read the short story and I was thoroughly impressed. And I saw the movie and it was completely different. But I didn't complain about that. I was just two different things. These things exist differently. And I'm okay with that.
You know, it's crazy, right? Like, I don't want to seem like we're jumping on Will Smith or anything like that. I'm not jumping on Will Smith, but like, The Pursuit of Happiness, when he did that, I read the book before I saw the movie, and there was some things I picked out that I was like, because the book is autobiographical, right? Like, the
Oh, okay.
guy's
Gotcha.
last name is Gardner. I can't remember his first name. Is it Robert Gardner? I can't remember his name, but like the book is autobiographical, and then you see the movie and you're like, that's not how that happened. That's not how that happened. Like I thought you guys were basing it off the book, but I guess if they say based on the book, I mean, I guess they can still take
Yeah,
some liberties,
they
right?
take some liberties. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was, yeah, it was different. So I was just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I could also be again, I could be biased because I never I do watch things based upon things I've read, right? Like so Fahrenheit 451 was made on HBO Max. It was different. Like Michael B. Jordan and oh man, what's the guy? It's a great actor. He played General Zod.
Michael Shannon.
Yeah, that's that dude. He's a great actor. Um, that was not the same as the book. And it's one of my favorite books. But I was just like, it's a different adaptation, right? Like it's just different. Like just take it for what it is. Like go back and read the book again if you really enjoyed the book. Sometimes live action, they have to make adjustments, right? They don't have uh 10 hours, 14 hours to do what the book did or however many more hours, right? Reading a token book or whatever, like it's hundreds of hours. Um, there has to be changes and concessions made, and sometimes it just becomes a different property. They're like, well, don't call it that. I'm like, well, they did. All right. Just take it. It's fine. Like anything written by Stephen King, every time they like The Shining is not the same as the book. I'll tell you that. The book was great. The movie was also great. They're different. Um, but I think they fixed it in Doctor Sleep. They fixed they retconned some of the stuff to try to make it more in line with the book. But I don't know. Now I'm just rambling. Like so the key, the moral to this story is
Don't say
there
it
is
again.
none.
You're gonna get us canceled.
There is none.
Don't tell people not to read again.
You should read.
Yeah.
You should read. Just saying them, but then don't get too hung up on the source materials is the key, the moral to the story. You'll be happier. Um, but definitely continue to tune in. Monday and Tuesday are topics. Wednesday's discussion. No SSSP this week. I'm trying to line something up. The next couple weeks is the goal. And then obviously this is the weekly rundown. We talk about everything else, to including literacy. Add that to the intro. So there is that. But
Good save. Good
please,
save.
yeah. But please continue to tune in, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit us up all of our socials. They go by our name. Hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Clubhouse. And LeVon is at LeVon Maynard on Twitter. Stay safe, stay secure.